This is Joby Miller, and you're listening to the Dirty Right Rear Podcast.
Hey, everybody. We're back here. Episode 12, Dirty Right Rear Podcast. What the fuck? Okay.
When you start over?
I mean, we can keep it in there, but I'd leave it, but whatever. Okay. Episode 12, we got fucking Jeremy opening a bunch of shit, but anyway.
Be on par for you today.
Yeah. So Jeremy Booyer, Jeremy Sutton. This week we got Joby Miller in the house. So we're going to talk about his schedule, what he's got going on, all his old school stuff, new school stuff, all kinds of stuff like that. And we'll get going. We're going to go over a little bit of I guess the Midwest. What was it called?
The Midwest Winter Nationals.
Winter Nationals. We went to DuQuoin all weekend. We had a bunch of our little drivers there, and
we met a lot of cool fans of ours.
Met a lot of good people, and a lot of people we didn't even know watch this thing, which I was really, really surprised.
Right.
I thought we had about 12 people, but obviously there was 12 at DuQuoin that watched it.
Right. Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
We met a guy from Garrett Goodwin, which Jeremy's wearing his shirt from Michigan. He come down, and he's been a fan of ours since day one. So it was really cool to meet him, talk to him, his family, and he's a cool guy. They
had a pretty cool setup. He's got a toy hauler camper, and the whole back of it is set up with his micro shit. And then when they put the ramp down, and then he has one of those tents like you're at a wedding that has all the windows and shit in it.
They had carpet in it, lights hung up. They had a portable garage there. It was a pretty cool thing.
Definitely want to mention him because he supported us, and we gave him a sticker right off the bat, and I bought a shirt, and I didn't even wasn't even turned around yet, and he already had a sticker on the car.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, and there's people like that, man. That's badass. And I wish we had there's a whole bunch of people. I wish we had some stickers on their cars and stuff like that. But I know everybody wants something out of it or something. And I wish we had all the money in the world to hand people money to put stuff on there. But maybe one day.
And we met another guy from, I think it's Kentucky, Tanner Williams, I think is his name.
Yep.
And he was a fan of ours, so that was pretty cool.
Yep. So. He's actually getting his car wrapped, I think, this week or something like that, because we gave him a sticker. He's like, oh, yeah, I'll put it on there. Yep. And I had a guy from Southern Illinois, actually, Aaron Sherman. He come up, and his boy's going to be running restrictor this year. And he said they're brand new in it. So anybody from Southern Illinois, you see those guys, man, make sure you help them out because, getting into anything new like that, you got to really got to have everybody on board. And anyone that's there, in which Southern Illinois is a good kind of family atmosphere, so they'll have plenty of people helping them out and stuff.
Yeah. And I really I only was at DuQuoin this weekend for Saturday, but man, I had a heck of a good time. I think that's a pretty good event. They had 170 cars, and man, it was a long day and long night, but they kept that show moving relatively good. I felt like
it's that place is always tough. You don't want to go because you're going to beat your equipment up, but then you do want to go because it's about the only thing going on.
Yep.
And I don't know. I see it both ways. And it got cold. First day was pretty awesome. Second day was freaking freezing, and I wasn't too big of a fan. You usually run that show though, don't you?
Yeah, we usually do, and I was actually planning on it about a month ago, and I looked at the weather, and I got, we were talking about earlier, I got my 360 kind of buttoned up, and it looked like it was going to be 77 and 79 down in Mississippi, so I decided we're trucking south instead of freezing in DuQuoin.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. You raced, we'll touch on your results here later, but you raced Mississippi last night, and you're here in the studio today, so thank you. We want to thank you for that.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome that you're 10 hours away, and then half a day later, you're here with us. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Yeah. A lot of people got time.
Yeah.
A lot of people got time for us.
Where are you going with that?
Nowhere yet. Nowhere yet.
All right.
That's just, I tried to get Cole to come, but I only asked him once. And then when he said no, I was just like, okay, but I knew BJ would be 100% against it. But I was like, oh, you got plenty of time. He goes, Cole don't even live up here no more. I ain't got time to do none of that shit. I'll be the one fixing it or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. So I get it. But
yeah, I didn't watch a single lap of the Outlaw Micros.
I didn't watch too much of anything. I was running around doing everything else, but
I watched just about everything else, but Zane was always racing, and as soon as he was done, the Outlaw Micros were out there. Well, I'd go out to see how that went, or go outside and.
I tried to just make sure I kept up with the people that kind of our group or whatever you want to call it, our supporters or our. I mean, our friends and all that. Like I did watch the Outlaw Micros when Max went out there.
I missed Max.
I catched a couple of those, but he drove Hinkle's
3-car
P&P car or something. I think that was a whole different world, but they were just shaking that down a little bit. But man, I can't believe last night they let him run in the rubber deal. I mean, I understand not working the track for one race, but I don't know if you even seen it. But like it took rubber like 3 features before. Like the mod lights went out and it was taking rubber, restrictors ran in complete rubber, and they still had the whole Outlaw. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the fix really would have been for it, but
yeah, I don't know. Did they? It looked like they might have had a late night on Friday. Was that maybe God. Some of they were trying to push through maybe a little bit.
I guess.
Saturday?
I mean, it was rough, but I mean, you were $500 in the hole before you pulled out on the track. I mean, you knew it. That was bad. So I guess Max or Brian Crabtree's lucky that they didn't have their own car there. But yeah, I think he finished 4th.
I was thinking 3rd or 4th. Yeah,
something like that. I don't know. I didn't watch. We were trying to load up and get out of there, and I was freezing to death, so it wasn't too bad. But
I did see that guy that stood us up won.
Oh, who's that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, RTJ.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So.
You're kind of butthurt about that.
Yeah, I'm a little salty over that deal.
Okay.
Well, but hey, it's over now. I can go back to being a fan of his. He's fun to watch drive.
Oh yeah, if you're not a fan of his, I mean,
right? Yeah.
I think he had like his wife and his kids as his pit crew. I didn't see hardly anybody helping him, and he ran about 3 classes. So.
Yeah. Did he run A class car and everything?
I believe so.
So he won the Winged Outlaw in the A class car.
I'm not sure he even has Outlaw.
I don't.
Outlaw
he didn't
stuff.
run it at the shootout either, did he? He ran A class.
A class stuff. Yep.
So I'm shocked.
I hate all that. A class sucks. I don't know why people even run A class. Why would you even want to do that? Spend the money and go do something cool. I mean, I don't know. I'm torn on that. Mostly the KKM deal A class. I mean, fuck, I don't know. Whatever.
Do we want to go ahead and talk about our local results from last night?
Yeah, well, what do you think about the A class KKM deal? I mean,
I'm not a big A class fan
Yeah.
in general, but it's also, I've kind of grown up running the Outlaw stuff, and then as an engine builder, it's cool putting
a lot of money.
shiny cool stuff in Outlaw motors instead of just stock stuff.
I don't get the like I see Port City one doing decent, maybe that Dodge City deal doing, because I think that up there is a lot of A class stuff, right. But the other ones, well, I guess the Indiana one wouldn't be bad, but I don't think there'll be no like, hey, we're going to get 150 now instead of 75.
I don't think it's going to be a big jump.
I don't care to go to them really now, so whatever. And they cost all kinds of money usually, but it is what it is.
Doesn't it all?
No, not when you win 10 grand sometimes, but
cool.
Then Joby just got the whole freaking check, so it didn't really matter.
You gonna be at Port City next week?
Yes. Yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons we didn't run DuQuoin. We actually sold my Outlaw car today before I came here, so I got it sold, and I'm in the process of swapping over the car we ran in A class. It's shootout for Outlaw for this coming week.
So let's just hit the nail on the head right away. If you're running second to Cole again this year, you gonna be as nice to him?
Yeah, yeah.
I know you kind of. That's a touchy subject, but
did anybody local buy the car?
Yeah, St. Louis area.
Okay.
Where are they gonna run it? Did they say?
It'll be Jacksonville, Macon, WFO stuff.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right, ready to go on with the results from last night?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess we talked about all our people we met. I just wanted to make sure we hit up all those guys and everything. But
there was a few other people we met we didn't catch names on and things like that.
Yeah,
but,
the people in the stands. Like I went and sat in the stands, and I had 4 people come up to me, and a couple of them were older guys, and I didn't even catch their name or nothing. They didn't say. They're just like, "Hey, man, we like that," and I was like, "Man, this is crazy." I said, "Wait till tomorrow. The president will be in."
Oh boy, stuff's getting deep here now. Want to hit on Zane's weekend first? Go to junior sprint?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was badass. I mean, people watching it, I guess, may have thought it wasn't, or the cars he was beating up on may have not thought it was. But I mean, I told him to go out there, and I mean, just like everybody else, I mean, he's kind of a little gasser, and I think he's gonna. There's certain people you have confidence in, I guess, and maybe it's because it's my car, it's different. But because there's some kids, I think, hey, I don't know why your kids are even racing, but I understand it's a hobby. But I think that Zane can be somebody, I'm not saying he's a NASCAR dude or something like that, but I'm gonna say racing around here, he can be the next Joby or the next in a micro type stuff or whatever he's gonna do. He can be the next, somebody like that. I have a lot of confidence, but I also have a lot of confidence in a whole bunch of the kids that we see,
I don't disagree.
So, I get it. We'll go that in a minute. But anyway, Zane's deal. So he goes out there, and just melees he ain't giving a shit about nothing. He goes in there, he's sliding guys, and dooring them like crazy. And we're just standing there going, oh my God, this is going to be bad. This is Coles County all over again. We had like 7 dads after us, but there you got to expect a little bit of it. But man, he was going to the front, and either you were getting out of the way or he was moving you out of the way. And him and one of Carber's car, which is a hyper dealer out of North Carolina, man, badass little car too. Him and that dude, I don't think they were in second and third or something like that. Yeah. And I don't think anybody even watched any car out there but them. They were just beating each other to pieces. And like last corner, last lap, they hit each other, and Zane kind of got clipped, spun around, and ended up finishing like last. But it was all, he come in, he was all mad, everything was crazy. But I was like, dude, that was awesome. I said, and he's like, well, that's crap that he didn't wreck too. And I'm like, so what's going to happen, dude? You beating each other up. One of you is going to pay the price, and maybe next time it won't be you. So I don't know. It's heat race. And then he goes out for the B, and he's like, just going nuts in that thing too. And makes a show. And I think he starts 18th and then, runs it all the way up to like fourth or fifth. I don't remember exactly, but it was nuts, man. It was wild. And then I think about 2 laps left, he got tangled up with somebody and he was all bumming out again, but go 18th to like 4th or something like that. That's crazy, man.
You see this? I just want to drape this across.
I was wondering what you're talking. I was telling a whole story there and you didn't even fucking listen to me.
I did. We're just going to put that there for you.
What the hell is that? Did you find that in the shit house? Hey guys, this is Jeremy Booyer and Jeremy Sutton here with the Dirty Right Rear podcast. We want to highlight one of our sponsors, supporters, and everything else with Expert Graphics, Powder Coating, and Fabrication. Expert Powder Coating and Fabrication is a family-owned business out of Farmington over in the industrial park. You can go over there and get some graphics, lettering, anything for your race cars. Get some powder coating done for your race cars, any other kind of stuff. Get any kind of fabrication also done with them. You can come over there and talk to Andy Moss. He's in there just plugging away at the computer, designing everything, doing whatever he can. You got Dennis in the back with his lab coat, mixing up the powder coat, really getting the stuff going. And then you got Dan over there just fabricating anything and everything you want. But if you want to hit them up, Expert Powder Coating over in Farmington at the industrial park, you can give them a call, 573-756-7324.
We want to welcome Premier Door Company to the list of sponsors for the Dirty Right Rear podcast. Keith and Paige Jackson with Premier Door Company out of Terre-de-Lac. They do all things garage door related. We got sales, service, and installation of any garage door equipment, garage door openers, any garage door problems you may have. You can call 573-783-7775 or look them up on Facebook at Premier Door Company. So let's talk about the B main. He finished, first or second to B main?
Second. Yeah. But I was talking about the 18th to 4th run in the freaking feature at DeCoin, which is badass, but you weren't listening.
You're right. I only heard about the heat race.
I know.
Yeah, my bad.
But
I couldn't resist.
He did get into it with somebody again, and then it kind of sucked, but tore a little bit of stuff up, no big deal. But then the second day, I guess, he went out there, first corner, first heat race, 100 mile an hour into the corner, beats off like, I don't want to say that, where I've cut that out. That's fucked up. Yeah. So he just bangs off these kids and spins out. And it was just, he goes to the back, starts dead last in the B, runs it up to 7th. They have a red. So we go up and he's like, what place am I in? And we had a big speech with him about, hey, man, you got to calm down. We got to get into the show before you can really just get crazy, man. I mean, you can get crazy, but just you gotta pick your battles. And he's like, okay, well, we're like, hey, you're in 7th, and he's like, I'm just gonna stay right here. And we're like, well, don't just stay there in case somebody comes around you. And he's like, well, if you get a hole, take it. If you don't, just chill out. And he's like, okay. Well, he ended up finishing 7th, started dead last
22nd,
and then ran it up to like 12th. But I mean, he ran it up there, and he took his time, was a little more patient, and then
very patient. Drove a hell of a race.
Pretty awesome. And then after the checkered, he was thought he was gonna be cool, and he jumps up on the top and tries to run the wall and smokes the wall, hits the back end, flips the whole car. And I'm like, and then he comes in and he's all mad. He's all like, oh my God, you guys are gonna be so mad. The brakes locked up on me. And we're like, dude, you went up there in the marbles and tried to run the fence. No, the brakes locked up. We're like, dude, just tell us the truth. And then we got it on video. And he's like, well, I don't know what happened. But overall, for that car, it was badass, man. And, you know, we beat it up pretty good. And, you know, he was kind of bummed that he's bummed every week he don't win. And I'm just like, this class of cars, man, mostly restrictor, is just so even with a lot of kids. And for him to be finishing, you know, he won 3 or 4 features last year, and he goes up there and he's always in the, you know, top 4 or 5 cars. And I mean, that's in the restrictor class, that's pretty good, because those are so, you're say your 10 good cars or whatever, the cars that are up there that are battling, they're all pretty much the same. So,
right.
I mean, I don't know. I thought it was a good weekend, and then we were just kind of shaking everything down, make sure it ran, 'cause we had a bunch of problems with it. And we'll have to shoot actually Joby and them actually hooked it up. Couldn't figure it out. It ended up being a wire in the injector that just was barely making contact every once in a while, and got that fixed and got everything kind of rolling. It ran awesome. And so want to go to Port City this weekend. Here's another thing. So
Port City, yeah.
Even though this will air too late. So
yeah, but
maybe
we can put a reel out.
Yeah, well, we should put the reel out. So anybody that wants to get a hold of Billy and Jennifer, or if you see Zane, because Billy, he's got to work like 3 nights this week and all week. So he's like, hey, I ain't going to be able to go get the car turned around, and I got to go out of town to work. So he's probably not going to go to Port. And I was like, well, I want to go to Port, man. And we got to take that car to Port. We got to get Zane to Port. And I mean, it's, the good kids are going to be there, the fast kids in the restrictor class. So I said, we got to go to Port. And I don't think he's going to go. So anybody that we get this reel out, you know, you need to get a hold of Billy and them and hound them about going to Port, because they're going to save it for Doe Run. And I'm not even looking forward to going there. So
yeah,
we'll, and I think we got DeCoin in a couple more weeks. And I said, let's just go beat the car up there again. You know, I'm down with it, but yep, we'll have to, we got to get him down to Port with racing some of those kids, because, I mean, like Joby, I mean, you know that the Port City is where you're going to race with the fast kids.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
anybody's down there, and it just makes them way better, and we got to get them. Yeah. We got to get them down there, but.
So we'll move on to touch on. We had 4 kids in the junior sprint. We had Cruz, Xander, Carter Bates, and Presley Hall.
Yep.
Cruz doubled down both nights, put on a heck of a show both nights, won both features, won him a nice $800. And
oh yeah, man, that was crazy, man. He was pumped. That was pretty cool. I mean,
yeah,
he took those kids to school.
He did, man. He was.
I mean, he was a quarter or half a second faster than half of them. I mean, just
right,
lit it up, dude. I mean, he's going to be a gasser. I mean. Yeah. I keep telling Caleb, you know, they need to get him in a restrictor. I think he needs to go out and win a whole bunch of money in the junior. I mean, I say a whole bunch of money, $200 here, $100 there or something, but.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I know. I hung out with those guys yesterday, and man, Cruz was on cloud 9. Is kind of cool. His mom was in Florida all weekend. She landed at the airport in Illinois at 7:55. Had an hour drive that she made it in 40 minutes somehow. Got there lap 2 of the feature, and so was able to go down to Victory Lane, surprise him. That was pretty cool. But I know, man, they were pumped up after that. They, I know they went to the chili bowl or the shootout, had some bad luck down there, and they've done a lot of work on the car, a lot of research on the car since then, and looked like things are paying off there.
Yeah. I'll say, man, those other kids, like Xander. I know they all just kind of got started and everything, but he was on the hammer.
Xander's 5 years old.
Yeah.
And was.
He ain't 5 right now.
That's what? 7, I'm sorry.
Okay.
7,
Jesus.
I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's still pretty young.
No, I think he's 5, dude. I don't know. He's young.
Yeah.
Anyway, and he won 2 heat races and 2 fourth-place finishes.
Yep.
So I know Wimpy was really happy with that.
I mean, he definitely picked up some speed there, and I will say that even Presley Hall.
Yeah.
I mean, when she was out there for the shootout, I was like, oh man, she'd pick it up, and I mean, I watched a lot of them, and then she was a lot more gasser, and then the Bates kid.
Yeah, he was impressive.
I couldn't believe that. Yeah, I mean, I thought he was going to go out there, and you could tell he had his first, when you go in there, somebody kind of puts it in there on you or do whatever, and he kind of lets off a little bit, but he pushed the gas down way more than what I was expecting.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think a few races in, he'll be up to speed just like the rest of them. But I mean, they can actually go race at DeCoin 2 more times before the season even starts, because they got that cart deal going. They're racing junior sprints, and they're having the whole race they just had this weekend again in 2 weeks or whenever it is. But so those kids, if they hit up both of those, man, by the time racing starts, they'll be on the.
Dude,
they'll be ready to rock.
And I think I'm not sure about Bates, but I know the other 3 plan on running Coles County every week.
Yep.
And so man,
I'd say Bates will go wherever they go, and kind of because I know his daughter Kylie. I think.
Yeah, I think that's her name.
I went up there and helped him kind of work on that micro, and she's going to be in a restrictor. So and she's never done any of it. So I'm sure they'll go down to Doe Run first, because they got that race first, and then I'm sure he'll follow that crowd around, just because, I mean, they all help each other.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch those kids grow. And, we've had, Zane or Cruz here on the podcast, and, he was a fun interview, and those kids are going to be fun to watch. So that was one of the main reasons I went. I enjoy watching the kids, and it's a lot of fun hanging out.
We're still biased on a lot of it, but I still think that, like, the group of kids that come around here, or some of the kids that we have that come out of here, are like some of the better kids in some of the racing. And I know that I know them, so it's different. But man, I think some of these kids that we have around our area are gassers, man, and I think they're going to do pretty good.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to follow them this year. They're all going to travel and step out a little bit, and and that right there is going to make them a whole lot better anyway. I don't know how much these kids that we're talking about are going to run local. I think
they don't have a choice. They can't run local when there ain't nowhere local to run.
There's not a track.
Well, there is, but they're only going to run every other week.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So I mean, why?
And man, that's a shame that Yeah. You want to talk on that, or you just want to bypass that? I'll leave that up to you.
I want to talk on it.
It's up to you.
So let's just get it out. Let's get it all going. The elephant in the room that everyone that watches our podcast and everything, they know we're promoting Farmington, we're promoting all these tracks and everything, and we talk about Doe Run, but we haven't promoted or done a whole lot of like, hey, let's get this going. Which the schedule's out and everything. There ain't a ton of big stuff, but he's doing other things too. So I mean, he's running 4-wheelers on Saturdays and this and that, but like, I don't know. It's tough. We've tried to get him on the show, and he don't have time to do it. And I get it. Everyone's busy, but like Joby was racing in Mississippi last night. He come up today. We have the biggest promoters. Josh Carroll comes on. He does a Zoom, but he does a Zoom from damn Florida.
Right.
I mean, we'll Zoom Tommy from Doe Run.
We got, Kenny Dobson from Jacksonville, Illinois, asking to come on with us. We've got all the promoters of the local tracks except for Tommy with Doe Run, and
I'm trying to do it, and I know. I mean, I'll just say it. I don't get along. I don't agree with 90% of the stuff that's going on at Doe Run this year. I don't understand it. I'm going to go on a fucking rant like I'm like a bad man right now, because I get the track, and I get you don't get this, and you got to make money, you got to do this, and you don't like this guy, and you don't like these racers and all this stuff, and everyone's a pain in the ass. I'm a pain in the ass, and I'm going to be a huge pain in the ass to that track a little bit, just because you cut out certain classes. I get you cutting the junior sprints out. That was funded by a sponsor, so I get you're cutting that out. You only get 2 or 3 of them, but it's a building block class to go-karts, to junior sprints, to restriction. Now, do you have to get a junior sprint? No, you can jump into everything, but I think there's so much in there that's drama that is like, I'm not doing it because this guy ain't helping me or this, and I don't like this guy and everything, but and then you cut the mod lights out. You only cut the mod lights out because you can't get along with the Beards and the Hazes.
Right.
And I'm going to throw names out there, but I get it. But you're a businessman, so you have to. If I had Doe Run, I guarantee you I don't like half the people we go to the races and see. Some of the people I don't like, but I'm not like, if I own the track, when I see them walk in, I'd be going $30, $30, $30, $30. I wouldn't be going, hey, fuck that class.
And
I get it, man, and I understand, but like the Hazes, they had a couple mod lights, and they got go-karts, and I think they had junior sprints and this and that. So there's 10, 15 people, man. Yeah. And that's money, but, and then you got our group, we have a bunch, and we'll still go, and well, we might not after this show, or I might not be able to, but anyway, you got 10, 15 people in that group. And then Billy and them, I think that people think that they're stuck because they're running go-karts there, and Billy's not going to not let his kids run go-karts.
Right.
They got the go-karts there. It's hard to tell your kid. That's where I'm stuck with the Zane situation, until, we can get him on here. And we want to promote this. We want to promote Doe Run as it's part of the local thing. And our thing was, we were going to do 50% of that on a show, and then 50% talking to other people that travel and do everything else. And then we can't get him to come on. And he said he would, and it was cool, but I don't know. I'm just, I don't understand it, but until I get some help, I don't want to help that out. And I know that's bad. Everybody's gonna be like, oh, you're blasting the track, and what if the track closes and all this? You know what? Who gives a shit? I hate that any track would close or do anything, but if half the people are getting ran out, what's the deal? You got to think, Billy and them bring what? A ton of people, and just because maybe he don't get along with his dad, or his dad's a pain in the ass, or Billy, they yell at me and all this, walk away.
Right.
It's count your money and walk away, and keep having the support classes you got, and bringing the 4-cylinders back. And I'm not a track prep guy, and I don't know anything, but the front wheel drive and all those 4-cylinder guys, I do like the rear wheel drive mini stock deal that they used to have back in the day. So I can't really blast on that. I used to thought that was a pretty cool little deal and all this stuff. But when they bring those in there, it just ruins the whole track for all the go-karts. All it does is beat those kids' brains to scrambled eggs. And I think that's terrible. I do understand there's a lot of BMI guys, and I do like a lot of the BMI guys and everything, but those don't belong there. And I don't think they're going to have any anyway with freaking Tri-City running, all these Friday night guys running. I think that's going to dwindle a little bit, but I can't. I guess what I'm trying to say is help us help you. Until we can really get that all resolved, I don't get it, and I hate all the drama about it because I want to, support it or do whatever we can do, and just this and that, and I can't get behind it right now, and I have a car that's going to go there.
And we've reached out to Tommy, both of us, our producers reached out, and we've made it clear that we're not Tommy fans, but we want to be professional. If he would come on with us, we would be professional. We wouldn't go on a rant like this. We want to help him. We want to see that track succeed, believe it or not. But if he's not willing to come on and, be a part of this and help himself, then we're not going to help him either.
And people, they're busy. I get it, and he does have, his wholesale deal. But we have 7 days a week. We had 7 days a week. We could have done it at 10 o'clock.
The last message I sent him was, you tell us a time, date, and place, we'll make it work.
Yep.
And I got nothing back.
Because, when racing starts and we're trying to talk about, some of these people, I'm going to refer to it as that track. I don't know. It's aggravating as shit. And the reason it got all brought up is because people asked me this weekend over at DeCoin, hey, are you guys, what's going on at Doe Run and what's this? And
why aren't you talking about
why aren't you talking about it as much? You're giving all these other places, and you're really talking about micros and the junior sprints and this and that, but you're not bringing up where they're going or Doe Run or any of that stuff. But I can't do it yet. And it's hard to have in Zane, I really want his car to go there because Billy's mom and dad. You know, they don't get to travel around, and I want them to see him race. And I would never say no unless I was not allowed there. I would never say that, you know, he couldn't go there because people want to watch all those kids and stuff. But I don't know, man. I can't. I'm just.
Hey, you feel better. You got it off your chest.
Well, I know, man, but it's just so aggravating, dude. It's just, and it only started because people were asking me about it this weekend, and they were, you know, were like, "Hey, man, what's going on with there?" And I'm just like, I don't know, man. Fuck, maybe they're closed. Who knows? But I mean, I just don't get some of the classes they're going to have and do, and I understand, you know, hey, you don't get along with this guy and you don't get along with that guy, and I know that like him and Brian Reich from Coles County kind of had a falling out or whatever, and I mean, just fucking call each other, Jesus, you know, I mean, I don't know.
Let's go ahead and change the subject. We brought Joby all the way up.
I know, and he's just sitting over here listening to me.
So let's go ahead and get Joby on. So, Joby, tell us about yourself.
Joby Miller, Millersville, Missouri, about an hour south of here. Yeah, kind of been racing around the area for quite a few years.
You got your start in the go-karts, right?
Yeah. I started racing go-karts when I was around 10 years old. Did a lot of the flat kart stuff, you know, down Blodgett, Missouri, down Memphis area, down to Toka Raceway Park. And, just kind of ran around with that a little bit and got into the mini sprints when I was around 15-ish. So
I think we talked about that, the iconic 55.
Yeah, I ran the blue and red Lance McKinney car, the 55, there for a year or two. I actually still have it up in the loft at my shop. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think he had like $7 in the car and 20 in the motor and would come and beat everybody.
Yeah, an old cookie truck or something.
Yeah, it was a box van with ramps out the back. We talked about that with your dad on there. I was like, man, I remember when he used to show up and God, that car was so awful looking. It was ugly.
Then you got a little bit better of a ride. Well, I can't say better of a ride, but you ended up in the Loyette old car, right?
Yeah, Joe Loyette and Brad Loyette. Loyette. Definitely. It was kind of a connection deal with Lance. He was crew chief in Brad's midgets and his micros and stuff. So Joe Loyette definitely helped me out along the way and let me use a car there for quite a few years and kind of helped push mine.
Loyettes are good people, and we actually talked about that in the last episode too. So when we was down at, all the years I've known you and seen you race, talked to you here a little bit here and there, talked to your dad here and there, and never really had a conversation with him. Never knew his first name till we started his podcast. You know, he come on with us, and he told me a question when we was at the shootout. He stopped me. He said, "Hey, ask Joby this," and for the life of me, I can't remember what it was. And but I had Jeremy texting today here, so Jeremy's got a question to ask you.
It was something about how your name come about, like the B and just the Joe, and I mean.
Yeah. So my grandpa's name was also Joe, and my real name is Joe Bryan. It's my middle name. So yeah, I was around my grandpa a lot, and it was just everybody just started Joby, middle initial, and it's just kind of took off from there. It's been like that forever.
Now, was there ever a possibility of it being something other than Joby? Was there another name possible?
I think there was a kind of a joke going around when I was a baby that they were going to name me Stagger Lee just to screw with my grandma or something. And I think the nurses even might have put it on my that's on the nameplate deal or something. And they talked to them, and the nurses do it. My grandma saw it, and I think she flipped out.
It come back to me as you was telling me. I'm like, I remember what it was now.
Yeah, so it's that was kind of a funny story, and we still joke about it now.
We need to put that on one of your race cars.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, that would. I never thought about that, but that would be pretty funny.
Everybody be like, what the heck?
Oh, they wouldn't have a clue. Well, yeah, they would, because we got so many followers now.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah, big time.
Superstars.
And Joby's got a big following, too. So, you want to talk about your 2025 plans?
Yeah, I mean, we're just kind of doing similar to what we did last year as far as race count wise. We're just going to actually do the Power Eye points deal is the plan as of now, and haven't ran for points since 2017, I think.
Would that have been back in the Power Eye micro?
It would have, right? Yes. Yeah. Yes. So we did that, and it's going to be kind of, I say different, but not really. I mean, our race count's still going to be very similar. for layout wise, but chasing points does kind of have a little different aspect that you got to do throughout the year.
Looking at their schedule, if you run mainly that, you're going to have probably less traveling this year than last year.
Yeah.
So I know you've done a lot of traveling to the upper Midwest, especially running the IRA stuff a lot last year.
Right.
But a lot of the Power I schedule is, centrally located. So I did notice there's a lot of half-mile stuff on there.
There is. I'm not a big half-mile guy, which I just kind of grown up, obviously, learning and running around here, Farmington, Jacksonville. Those kind of tracks. Never really had the equipment or budget to run a lot of big half miles, but I've tried to position myself where we can hopefully be competitive on those tracks here in the next year or so, and learn as much as we can.
Yeah, that's we had Gage Montgomery on a couple weeks ago, and he's like, I'm not a half mile track guy, but I better learn it.
Right.
It's
there's a lot of races. A big percentage of them are large tracks, even big 3/8. Like Lee County and Donaldson and 34 Raceway. We got a lot of bigger 3/8 that race similar to a half mile.
Yeah, those I done years ago. Used to travel with Mark Scherschken, Lee County, 34 Speedway. Those are fun tracks, flat, but they're so fast.
They are fast.
I've often told people, like, that's something you just need to go because it's a flat track, like especially 34. That's my favorite. It doesn't look like much, but it races good. It races fast, and at least anytime I've been there, it has.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to that stuff.
I think I don't know if you watched our one with Gage, but I think you're his. he's gunning for you. That's his goal. Is I think you just because of being two of the guys from the same area and everything. Because every time we ask him, he's like, I'm always behind Joby. Every race, I'm behind him every time.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of. I don't know. I was kind of like that with his dad and his uncle. I didn't get to race against Timmy a whole lot. He was kind of getting out and helping Gage more as I was coming into the sprint car stuff, but I got to racing with Joey, and he was obviously the guy there for a long time to beat.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's funny. I never thought of it that way before, but you chase those guys for sure. And I know you and Gage have had, well, maybe not you because you're usually in front of him, but Gage just followed you at Poplar Bluff a few times, I think, Benton, maybe Farmington, Jacksonville. So
yeah, no, he's really coming into his own. I think those guys get some equipment around them, and Gage gets some good laps this year. And I think last year he had some engine issues or timed a couple engines out and had to take a month or two off in the middle of the summer, and that always kind of hurts, hurts your rhythm, hurts that momentum that you kind of get built up through the summer.
Yeah.
I guess with that big of a schedule you guys kind of have going, the micro's going to slow down a little.
Yeah, I mean, it's still looking pretty similar as what we did last year. I think there's going to be one or two races I'm not going to be able to hit that I would really want to, but we're still going to go to Port City this weekend, run the big micro show. And like I said, we were kind of planning on running DuQuoin this past weekend, and they just kind of kept dropping the lows and the temperature lower and lower. And I hate pitting inside and pushing all my stuff in there. So I was going to pit outside, and Red and my wife decided to put the 360 in and head south.
Yeah. Like I said, Friday was not terrible. Man, Saturday was brutal. But
Your boy Brad was down there though. I seen him last
Brad.
night.
He was politicking.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was there.
He I didn't know who it was at first. Every time somebody walked by me and poked me in a Joby Miller jacket, I'm like, who is that? Then I finally seen it was Brad. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. He's a character, buddy.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yep. They keep him in the tool shed.
Yeah, keep him in the broom closet.
So I guess will you be able to hit like the hustle and the Sprague and stuff?
So the hustle, I think there is a schedule conflict on top of that, and I've never missed the hustle. So
oh dang.
So yeah, that's gonna sting a little bit, but we got an opportunity to do some stuff here, so
yeah,
we're gonna try it while I can.
So with your Power I deal, let's say you're not having the year you're wanting. Are you allowed to miss? Does that affect you other than your point total at the end of the year? Does that?
So yeah, I think you have to run 100% of the races to be
okay.
Whatever, to be available for the point money and all the contingencies and everything. So yeah.
And that's what I thought. But that's a pretty cool deal that Power I and Talon and I guess what is it? Who's their big sponsor?
Yeah, the Honest Abe.
Honest Abe. Yeah. That's a cool deal. Yeah, that's a cool deal they've got going, and I think that's a great opportunity for guys like you, guys like Gage.
It'll be a good regional kind of series for us to get out and travel. I mean, I really like running like that IRA deal.
Yeah,
it's just a haul for us to get up there. I mean, like the closest races are around 8 hours for us, but I mean, that's a really good series, and it's a kind of a good intermediate series, so you're not just going and getting your butt kicked with high limit or the Outlaws every couple of weeks. So.
I do know that when we had Lauren with Box 3 on a few weeks ago, we was talking about, the Jacksonville Peevely night.
Right.
And he said there was some talks of Power I trying to move the Lake Ozark date because right now Power I goes against IRA at Peevely.
Yeah, that is one of about the 4 or 5 races that are conflicting on my schedule right now because I really want to run Peevely.
That's going to be tough to, darn near drive past Peevely and go to the lake. But I know as of now that hasn't been changed, but he said Talon said he was going to change it. Let's, hope that happens.
We'll hope. We can hope so.
Right, because
it's all starting to roll now, so I don't know how much that's going to get.
Right, yeah. The sprint cars at Peevely, there ain't much better than sprint cars at Peevely.
Doesn't get much better than that.
You gonna get to run much mini outlaws or high limits?
Yeah, we'll kind of do a few when they're in the area. Just kind of the normal deal.
Yeah. How many nights total are you anticipating running approximately?
I think there's around 80 on the schedule. Oof. So
man, that's a.
Yeah. I think I was around 70-ish last year is what we ended up doing. So
wow.
Is a midget just pretty much going to be Chili Bowl deal?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few nights I think that we can run it along with either the micro or the sprint car.
Oh yeah, never mind.
There might be a couple times we can do that.
The extreme deal with them. Yep, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. Just kind of, it's not top of the priority deal, but Chris Lewis has the midget stuff, and with Tim Engler kind of letting me R&D the Ford deal. We're trying to run it a few nights here and there and give him some feedback and have a little fun with it.
Was you running the Ford at Chili Bowl?
I was, yes.
Yeah. I know you as a racer wasn't happy with your Saturday night results.
Correct.
Man, from an outsider, somebody that jumps in a midget one time a year and you was, in the B main and top half. I know, like I said, it didn't go like the way you wanted it, but that's pretty impressive to do that one time a year.
Yeah. It's that's kind of honestly our overall goal going to the Chili Bowl is to kind of be in that Saturday evening portion, the CB or the A. Yeah. But obviously, you're always wanting to make the show. Since we've made it a couple times, the main show on Saturday, you always want to do better than what you have done previously. So anytime you don't do that, it kind of sucks, but it is what it is.
I think the weight all week is what was killing it.
Yeah. It's definitely completely different than the shootout. It's I've done it both ways. I've ran really late in the week, and then you kind of get that big gap between practice and then you get a little antsy trying to get to your prelim night, and then I've done it real early in the week and get it out of the way, and I don't know. I don't know that it makes...
Well, in a perfect world this year, you'd be the Power I champion. That would more than likely put you in the race of champions, right?
Possibly.
So, I would say you could run Monday night. You could run practice on Sunday. You can run Monday and say, Wednesday or Thursday, and then space it all out.
That would be perfect scenario. Yes,
that'd be dream come true for sure. I don't know how they, I'm sure that Power I deal is going to be a traveling national series. I would assume so.
Yeah,
I'm sure they would throw you in there.
There's a few other ones in there that get kind of thrown in, so maybe they'll do it.
Right? Yeah, they're always kind of searching for people. It seems like anymore, so sort of for that. But.
Right.
What's your
hell? This year they should have had milestone champion in there.
Yeah, there you go.
Cole should have been in the race of champions.
So let's talk a little bit about Cole, and that was an awesome opportunity. Cole's lucky. He's blessed to work with you and to get that opportunity. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So for the people that don't know, Cole actually works for me in the engine room at the shop, and he does a lot of our micro sprint engine stuff, a lot of teardown and assembly, and just kind of keeps all that side of the shop rolling for me. And then Ethan Desmain keeps all the stuff on the car side of the shop rolling for myself, and Scotty Milan has his cars that we house there as well, his sprint car stuff. So between those two and my wife, man, they all stay pretty busy. But yeah, Cole, he had a really cool opportunity, and thanks to Chris Lewis, kind of letting him run that second car, getting him a really good deal, and just really cool experience, for him. I really wish we could have got him some laps outdoors just to shake it down, but between getting the car back together and racing so late in the year and the weather at the end of the year, we just couldn't really find a great weekend to get out and get him some laps. But hopefully, maybe if he's going to do it again next year, maybe this summer we can get him a few nights in.
Yeah, I know. We've heard some little rumors of, him possibly driving a wing sprint car.
Yeah, that's we keep kind of pushing on Denny a little bit, and I think he's all about it, and I think Jeremy's all about it here. So I know Cole's all about it because who doesn't want to drive a sprint car? But
right.
But yeah, I think I've got enough stuff to kind of put a couple cars together and try and get him maybe a few laps at a local show. We'll kind of look at the schedule and see what we look like, and
that'd be, I'd love to see that, and hopefully it's what would your preference be on a plate? Would it be Farmington?
Yeah, I mean Farmington would probably be what I would shoot for. Just let him cut some laps in there and go from there. I don't know.
Yeah,
He's got so much family around here too. It would be
it'd be kind of cool with his lineage, I guess you'd say. With Denny and then Tubby Black.
Yeah, definitely.
I can't believe did you see that Tubby Black car for sale online.
Yeah, I did see that.
I'm surprised that nobody kept that thing, or something.
So that BJ just sold that car like a year ago.
Oh, really?
That was all. BJ had a bunch of stuff, and so there was 2 of those cars. One went to BJ, and one went to Mary, Tubby's daughter. And Mary, I believe her car it's pretty much a race ready car. It's not race ready. I wouldn't race it, but it's a complete car, motor.
Yeah,
and it's somewhere in Illinois. And then BJ had that car, roller, a bunch of older parts, and he sold it here about a year ago. Because I seen that, and then my first thought was, did Mary sell the car? And BJ said, no, that's the one I sold. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see him out of Farmington. I think it would be the thing to do. There's so many people around here, and then BJ will get a go, so we won't have to hear that bitch about it. So, or we could just, every big show or every cool thing Cole does, BJ can't go, so we ought to take it somewhere like on UPS's,
busy day.
Yeah, something. They have a holiday weekend for UPS guys that they send them off somewhere. We'll go racing that weekend.
Perfect. Man, there was a time that BJ was mentioned on every one of our episodes, and it's been a while, so I'm sure he's feeling left out.
I think we've done it every time, though.
No, we missed quite a few here lately.
Really?
Yeah. I know, like the Kenny episode, the Gage episode, a couple of them we've missed him.
I try to bring him up every time just to make him feel special. Him and your father-in-law.
Yeah. Well,
I like talking about Lance too because he gets all mad.
He polishes his knobs on the sheep's foot.
We would try to have him. He's busy too because he's polishing those knobs on that sheep's foot all the time.
I knew you wanted a chance to bring that up. So. Let's talk about Joby. You got besides yourself. I know you have Lane's car. Or not Lane. Yeah.
So we do. Red and I go and prepare Lane Warner's cars and kind of help him a little bit, trying to teach him. Not really do everything for him, but just trying to. He's 17 now, so it's kind of time to take the reins a little bit, And so we kind of go down there a day a week and make sure the ball's moving and trying to teach him a little bit, just normal maintenance and normal, how to assemble a car the correct way and they've had some really good guys work for them over the last few years, and I think Lane's just kind of wanting to be more hands on and have a little more to do with it. So
are they going to run the full Power Ice?
They are planning on it. Yes.
I thought so. Then Scotty Milan's going to travel with you and run the full tour also.
Yep.
So you're going to be a busy man this summer.
We'll be pretty busy. We're actually talking about that on the way home last night, that we might have to find a little bit of help on some of those weekends because there's quite a few 3-day weekends with the Power Ideas.
So Red will be somebody's boss.
Yeah. We were literally talking about that. So
I don't know how I have time to do that. I mean, with all the chicks he has running around and stuff. You should have seen he had arms loads at the shootout. He was marketing it.
Yeah, okay.
He got them all, and then he got them all back at the Chili Bowl. Just handfuls of chicks everywhere. Every time I look around, it's got chicks on him.
I mean,
pretty cool.
I guess you can do that when you got all that downtime in the Chili Bowl.
Yeah,
So Joby, you're playing, or my plan for you running Monday night. That's going to be off. Red ain't going to have time to get the chicks.
Yeah,
if you're working him.
No, well, he'll have time.
He'll have
time.
Yeah. He'll make time.
Yeah.
But that way, and they come to him.
Right. Yeah. He'll be fine.
He don't even leave the area, and they're just showing up.
How did you guys do a little bit of partying in the Chili Bowl this year?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's just Yeah. You always do a little bit of partying in Chili Bowl. It just depends how hard you want to go. I try to keep it fairly level, and some guys like Jeremy over here like to turn the wick up a little bit. And
I hear Wednesday night, is that your night to go out and hang loose and let it all hang out?
I mean, any night that I'm not racing or that I don't race the next day, which I never really get too tuned up. But yeah, there's a few nights that seem like get more rowdy than the rest. And I think Jeremy got in the fruit bowl maybe one night, and And
It was a bad deal. I told Cole, I said, hey, I'm here to do whatever you want to do. So if we want to go back to the house and you want to chill out and you want to go to sleep and do nothing, I'm fine with that. And I thought that's the way it was going to roll.
yeah,
The first few nights, I was like, man, this is nice. We're just chilling out all day and we're going back and, Denny's trying to sneak beers out and Cole's yelling at him. And I mean, all kinds of cool stuff like that. And then Wednesday night come around and we started eating the fruit. And I don't know.
I think that was because all the juice was already gone, though.
Yeah, all the juice was gone and just started eating the fruit and I don't know. It got out of hand. It was bad. I think I got roofied or something. No, I don't think it was me.
Yeah,
I don't know who it was, but yeah, I was
Blame
telling.
it on red.
I had nicknames for all kinds of people in there. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Jeremy was telling about one of the cool things about hanging out with you at Chili Bowl was all the big shots, all the famous people coming in and out of your trailer all
No,
week.
I was just sitting there. I mean, I know that Tim Engler, everybody sees him because they go dine on their car. But when he's just sitting there hanging out with you, and I'm like, oh man, this is cool. And then I mean, a lot of people don't think of like Frank Flood and them as somebody big, but I mean, when you grow up in the micro stuff,
Absolutely.
Frank Flood's another goat. He's another, and he was in there the whole time. And I mean, it was pretty cool. The people that just roll through there and everything. And I never knew Brad Warner was such a celebrity, to be honest. I mean, he brought his dingo with him or whatever that thing was. And I mean, he was proud of it, man. And I have to say about him, I was never really met him and never really been around him or everything, but I always seen him and I was like, just if you don't know people, you're just kind of like, who's that guy, whatever. But then after meeting him and everything, I was like, this dude's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
And then I can see why he gets to hang around a lot because he cooks so much food every day.
does.
Oh,
He
my
cooks.
God. And I
That's his
seen this
game.
weekend was,
Oh, yeah, every weekend.
I was like, man, we should have went to Mississippi instead, man.
I've never talked to the guy in person, but I know he's a fun follow on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. And see, I was never friends with him on Facebook until end of the last year. And I was like, man, I was kind of missing out a little bit, I guess, because he's pretty goofy. But
You might be a good one to have on the podcast one day.
Yeah.
Flying A Motorsports and
that would
hot dog reviews.
yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
I told Cole the other day I'd really like to see Denny on here one time, but
Oh, my
he said no, he's not letting it happen. So
Oh, we can make that happen.
Cole don't live around here anymore. We can do all
Yeah.
kinds. We'll have to get
picked him
Denny
up today.
Yep. That's what I told him. I said, you should have told Joby if bring Red in here. We'll
Yeah.
really get in. We'll
I think
dig
Red
into
was
him.
tired. He was working today, and we trucked all night. Got home about 7:30 this morning, and I helped him unload the trailer at 7:30 this morning. And he started stripping the sprint car down, and I went and took a nap in the toter. And I got up at noon. And he had everything washed and on stands and ready to rock and roll. And he said he was heading out, going to bed.
Damn, man, that's brutal. But he's young. He
Yeah.
can still do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I could probably do that back in my prime, but not anymore, man. I need that sleep, man.
Happens when we get old.
Yeah, that's bad. No, we'll get Denny on here.
Denny
We
would
gonna
be-
listen to what Cole says.
Yeah. Jeremy didn't know to the podcast that Denny was an old race car driver.
I never even knew he drove.
Yeah.
Never knew that. And I mean, I've been around Farmington, since I was a kid. My dad's always took me there, and I never paid attention. But there's a handful of guys I guess I haven't really knew was doing it. But
Did you know Kirby Laws was a race car driver?
didn't know that either.
Yeah, Kirby used to be modified, or I've seen some pictures of him.
And there's a bunch of those old school dudes that you'll see that they all raced. You just didn't, like my dad's buddy Neil Hudson. I didn't know he raced for the longest time.
Yep.
And he was, they all raced those goofy things.
That's the same thing Kirby raced, yeah. Whatever
The
those
thing
were.
looks like this, and it comes in the front. It looks like a modified, but it's a big box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bunch of those guys raced those cars, and I did talk to Mike Crow this weekend.
Yeah, I seen him there too.
Yeah, so
Yep.
he's gonna hop on with us sometime. So
Where's he announcing at this year?
I assume Farmington Doe Run, yeah, because he said I said, well, we'll figure something out, on a Sunday or something. But Joby, one question I like to ask everybody that comes on is the dirty right rear question. So tell us about the dirtiest right rear that someone's thrown on you, and the dirtiest you've thrown on somebody.
I knew you'd probably ask this question, so I actually was thinking about it on the way up here a while ago. I'd say that, I don't know, I've been racing the midgets now a little bit, so that's pretty much a weekly deal. So they just all kind of run together, and it's just racing. But probably the one that sticks out was I got I got one stuck to me. We were racing. It's a long time ago. I'd say it's like 2016-ish, 17, somewhere in there. We were running a MOA show at Quincy, Illinois, and it had rubbered up around the top, and we had to restart like 5 to go. And it was kind of the old gentleman's agreement, like you can't really throw a slider in the rubber when we're all around the top because you just can't make enough speed to clear them, blah, blah, blah. Well, somebody about 8th place, I guess, decides to throw one, and I'm running around that 3rd, 5th, I don't even remember. And I guess I was the last guy in line and just got smoked, and there's no wall there, and I just went into orbit off the back, kind of off 1 and 2. And yeah, that one stung pretty bad. We had to have some words over that one. But yeah, that was probably one of the ones I remember the most. Probably the worst one I've thrown on somebody, and I still feel bad about it, would have been we were at Port City at a Power Eye Midget show, and I was starting on the pole of the feature, and I had Jake Buback actually beside me, and we had a start, and it didn't go, and I didn't get a real great start, so we got to do a complete restart. And I remember seeing Al. It was I think it was the first year he was working for me, and he was up there at the opening, trying to get me pumped up, telling me I have to go, and give me the old like slide him, got to slide him into one, got us, because Port City, just when it gets black, it is like ice. And so I tried, getting a good start on him, and I still couldn't get launched off the bottom of 4 on the start, and I just sent her off into 1, and I knew I didn't have any drive across the slick. I never found any grip, and I was fully committed, and I freaking like killed him. He flipped I don't know how many times, sent him up in the billboards at Port City, and I just junked him, and I felt so bad. And I knew it wasn't even going to be good for anything because I couldn't even clear the slider, so I knew I was going to be in trouble once we went green. And I think we ended up running 4th or 5th. So not only did I junk him, we didn't even win it. So that's probably the worst one I've thrown, I'd say.
Yeah, that happens from time to time.
Yeah, I try not to race like that, but you get in the midget a little bit, and you get them thrown on you. You kind of got to get your elbows up.
Man, the midget's cutthroat, dude.
Yeah.
Like, gosh,
I don't think it's just the midgets cutthroat. I think it's just all the young kids, man. They don't care.
Yeah, they don't
have to pay for it. They don't have to do anything, so they just throw it. Which, I mean, hell, I got a driver like that now, I guess. Fucking Zane waylaid fucking. I would say he hit 10 cars, if not more than that. It was awesome though. I would tell him do it again. I mean, it was so awesome. I was just like, holy crap, that's cool.
Hey, I mean, you're consistent, because every time I talked to you yesterday, you're like, I ain't gonna tell him to stop.
No, I wasn't gonna tell him. I mean, I know Billy was like, oh my God, and I'm like, now you can tell me what to do in this situation. So he's just starting in the restrictor. So, I mean, it's awesome, but he's a gasser, but you don't tell the kid to slow down, do you?
No.
I mean,
you just, I don't know. He's got to finish the races though. That's
what I told him. And I kind of got to him, and I was like, hey man, we got to make the feature to do it, and then we got in the feature like last night, because Billy was like, hey, be patient in the feature and try to get this and try to do this or whatever. And I walked up to him afterwards. I said, hey man, just get a lap or 2 in, and then full send that shit. I said, I don't care. And he's like, okay. I said, but it's going to take rubber. And he didn't know what that really was. So I was just like,
yeah, he knows now though.
Yeah, he knows now, and he knows not to get out of it, because it's insane out of it. But yeah, I don't know. I was trying to tell Billy, I said, I don't know what you tell a kid, that is hammered down all the time. And he was going in there, and I mean, 10 foot deeper than every other kid, bouncing off of him. And I mean, he passed one kid, and there was a kid on the outside of him, and he got him in the whole thing. And I was just like, did you see that one kid? He goes, no, I didn't see him. And I'm like, Jesus, man. It's like, holy shit. But, which that was Dalton Clary. He was on his outside. He slides in front of this kid, and then slides all the way in front of Dalton, about hits him. And I'm like, holy crap, man. You just a 2 for 1 for sure. But I was like, whew, this is rough. That's another kid I gotta go about. I got to get a sticker on his car. I talk about him so much, and I like the kid.
You should, man. You should.
I was going to go talk to him, but I don't know how you go about that, being like, hey, man, ain't got no money for you. But, I mean, I like watching your kid. We talk about him. All of our kids are friends with him, and I think he's going to be cool. And, hey, would you put this on there? I mean, I don't know what. I can give you a couple dollars or something, but.
Yeah.
There's a couple people like that I seen, because there are some of the people that follow us and do all that different stuff. You know, they I didn't know how to go about it. Like the Mod Light people who reached out to us, wanted to be on the show from SR, the Stevensons.
Yeah.
Something like that. And I mean, I don't really know them or anything, but I mean, they have a good YouTube following now, and they were doing videos and stuff. And I was like, man, I need to go over there and talk to them. I never went and talked to them about it, but I was like, man, I didn't want to get something on there. But the people you don't really know, it's hard to be like, hey, I'm going to put this on your car, man,
right.
you know, or whatever. But, and Steve Finn, that dude's everywhere.
Yeah, Steve's awesome.
And he's a cool dude. He always talks to me and everything. And I was like, I got to get a sticker on that car, man. I think I even told you that.
Yeah,
I was
did.
like, all the cars here, I got to get a sticker on Steve Finn's car. And then he packed up and left. And it was just, I was like, oh, well, I know I'll see him, because he goes,
Right.
Steve Finn, he's at every race, everywhere, anytime with no one.
Right.
One man show in a 6x12.
Yeah.
Let's get back to Joby and tell us, what's your biggest win ever?
Oh, biggest win ever. I don't know. I mean, probably had some really good micro wins. Obviously, the shootout. You know, the Hink Memorial at Sweet Springs was really cool. The hustle, it was special just because I had raced, you know, tried winning it and was so close for a lot of years, and finally got it done. You know, any of those first races that you win, micro, sprint car, those are all really cool. You try so hard and so long. But I don't know any one in particular that I would say is my biggest or best, or I don't know. I mean, I've got a lot of special wins. So
That one at Sweet Springs, that was the one time they actually paid like $20,000, wasn't it?
Yeah, they did that for 2 years. Yeah.
You're the 3-time defending Queens Royal champion.
Yeah, those are all obviously really big wins, cool wins, you know, especially being able to do 3 in a row. First few were in the McGarry's cars, so that was, you know, that was cool. And then being able to do it in my own stuff last year, that was special.
Tell you what, last year's feature, that was fun, man. Green to checker,
Yeah.
30, 35 laps.
5 laps.
And that don't happen at Farmington ever.
The track had some character.
Yeah,
You know, it was racy. You could move around.
Yeah, I want to say, did you start like 4th or 5th last year?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
I remember you started not deep, but
Right.
you know, you didn't start on the pole and got the lead about halfway through and was just checked out. I'm like, man. But I have checked the schedules, and that's an open date this year. So hopefully we can make it a 4-time.
That's what I think we'll probably be there. So as long as we don't have any conflicting dates.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully something don't get rained out and postponed to that. And
Yeah, I think it was an open date, because I remember there was something else I forgot another organization, but it wasn't Power Eye.
Right. Yeah. I mean, all 3 of those Queens Royal wins are cool, especially, you know, kind of growing up, you know, my dad taking me to Farmington, and we'd go up there almost every week back before I was racing, and just watching there and watching down at Benton. So it's kind of cool being able to go back there. And
right. It's cool to see Benton opening back up. Well, I mean, they've been open 4 or 5 years now, and having some decent little paying sprint car shows. And I went down there a couple times last year, and I've always enjoyed Benton. That's a pretty nice facility.
it is. It's a nice place, close to home for us, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But when the track's right, you know, it's racy, and we were able to win a couple shows down there last year and the year before. So,
What would you consider if you had to pick one track as your favorite? What would that be?
Man, I don't know. I'm obviously kind of a short track guy, just because that's what I'm comfortable and I feel really good on. But I like any track that's just prepped right and you can race and you have an opportunity to pass. You know what I mean? Like I've been on some places. Like I really like Jacksonville. I really like Farmington. You know, but I've been on both of those ends when you know they get a lot of cars and the weather's not right, and you get a rubber down track, and it's happened everywhere. I mean, you see it at Knoxville, you see it at some of the best prep places in the country. But man, anywhere you just get a good race surface that's just really, really good technical and gives you an opportunity to move and make positions. That's what I like, but probably short track stuff, you know.
No, Farmington struggled a lot last year track prep. They had a very bad time with equipment. That was the main thing, and you know the guys doing track prep. You know they did what they could with what they had, and hopefully they have better results out there this year. They got Jeff Zimmerman coming back I don't know if you know that name, but he back in 10 years ago he was the track prep guru at Farmington and always had a phenomenal track. So I'm excited to see that.
Absolutely.
It hopefully that comes back. I know it's no fun going to a rubbered up race.
No,
and
absolutely.
No, the fans don't like it, the drivers don't like it, and
Yeah.
and it's expensive on you car owners.
Expensive, and it's just frustrating sometimes if you can't, show what you got, and and you just kind of get boxed in back there, and you got to rough guys up to move them out of the way, and it's just, I don't know, not fun. Probably one of my favorite tracks, now that I think about it, would have probably been Little Belleville.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's everybody's favorite track. Mostly anybody that drove micros,
Right.
midgets, anything like
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was, we had a lot of good success there. Won a non-wing sprint car show actually there a long time ago, so that was really cool. I never got to run a wing sprint car there. I always kind of wanted to. I thought it'd be pretty neat.
I remember they ran a MOA show there for like 2 years.
Yeah.
I remember right. I don't know that. I went. I don't remember
I think
much.
they had
about
like a Midwest All-Star show or an actual All-Star
Yeah.
show there, and it rained out or something after qualifying one time, but
Yeah.
I never did run a wing car there.
I know they're supposedly rebuilding Belleville, but to my knowledge, it hasn't happened.
Right.
They haven't even started on it yet. So I don't know that.
that. I don't even know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't-
man. Everybody, they've been
know.
posting about it for a year and a half
Right.
now, and the old one's still there. I mean,
Yeah.
it ain't. I think that's all a money deal, and I don't think anything's going to ever happen of it or whatever. But have you've ran a sprint car at Macon?
Yes. Yeah.
Now they're going there this year, correct?
Yes. Yeah, Power does go there. We've ran a few MOA shows there. It's cool, honestly. You'd think it'd be probably too small, but it races actually pretty cool. So
Is there a track on the schedule this year that you've never been to that you're like, I can't wait to go there?
I don't know if there's one that I can't wait, but one that I've a little, I don't want to say concerned, but anxious to be would probably be Terre Haute.
Yeah. Okay.
I've never ran there. It's kind of a big, flat half mile, pretty fast, so I'm kind of a little antsy to run that. I think it'll be it's a very historic place, so it'd be cool to check it off the list, of places that you've been to, but I don't know that I'm super pumped to go there by any means.
Right. Is Knoxville on the schedule this year?
I've got a few local dates we're going to try and hit again,
I thought so.
Yeah.
I thought either your dad or somebody had told me that
Right.
you was going to try to hit it a few nights.
Yeah.
So you've been there once?
I've ran there three or four times.
three,
now.
okay.
Yeah, we ran there 2 or 3 times last year, and it's, I don't know. I know Jeremy's not a big fan of Knoxville, but and it's like a lot of those big tracks, they can get a little strung out, but it's just so technical, and I do feel like they have some really good races feature time come around. Heat races kind of get a little strung out and whatnot, but man, their features when it's hard to explain to hit the bottom there. It is so tough and technical, and to being able to keep your speed and fine grip, and it's just tough. I know, like the first night we ran there ever, I got out of the car after hot laps. I was like, we might as well have like unloaded a modified or a late model here, because everything I know, nothing translates to what I'm trying to do here. So yeah, it's a neat place and very, very prestigious place. So
It kind of is the Terre Haute to me too. I also,
Right.
Terre Haute's cool and it has a big, old school following.
Right.
It's cool, but the racing there is kind of tough
Right.
too. Man.
Yeah.
See,
Absolutely.
Me personally, I'd rather watch Knoxville 100 times before I had to watch Terre Haute once.
Yeah,
Right.
they're both in the same boat for me, but I
I think
mean,
Knoxville, my dad took me there when I was probably 6 or 7 years old for the Nationals, and I've only missed one since then. So it's
Really?
kind of a,
Wow.
kind of a
it's
cool deal.
it's kind of like the Chili Bowl.
Sure.
The whole atmosphere,
Yeah.
the whole thing is
Yeah.
crazy. You may not even watch too much racing, but
Right.
the whole thing around it all is
The
pretty cool. And
event.
I'll say that it's
The
neat,
whole event,
freaking awesome place, man. But just the racing, sometimes you're just like,
Oh, yeah.
you're almost watching pavement.
Yep.
Sometimes
I
And
agree. Some of the heat races do get kind of boring, strung out.
I think they should run 20 cars in a heat race and 40 in the feature, and then it would then I could get into it a little bit, because sometimes then it just gets spread out. You're just chilling.
Right.
Is there a track that you've never been to that you want to hit?
I'd really like to run Eldora, honestly. I mean, I know it's another big track deal, but it'd be kind of cool to run there.
I like Eldora.
It's
Eldora is pretty cool.
honestly that, and I'd honestly like to run Huset's. I think that'd probably kind of fit my
man,
style
Houston
a little bit.
Gosh, I love Sunday nights and turning Dirt Vision on, watching Houston. I'm like, gosh, I'd love to get there.
Yep. We were going to try going there. They had like an IRA kind of swing, I think, through there last year or the year before, and we were going to try and hit it, and the weather just didn't look good for the 12-hour drive. So
right, yeah. What did you ever get to? I'm going to say you probably didn't. You didn't have a 360 then, but did you ever get to run Little Rock I-30 much?
Yeah, we ran short track nationals there quite a few years. I think I made this show on Saturday a couple nights and a couple of years, I should say, and I can't remember. I think I ran around. Maybe, I don't know. I think I was around 10th-ish or so one year. We had a couple decent years down there. But
that's a track I missed. That was...
Yeah. Actually, I ran the 600 Nationals down there, and we won that in 2011 with the mini sprint stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yep. I ran the micro there a couple different times.
Man, the micros on the bottom? Was they on the top there?
You'd go about wherever, really.
Yeah, really? Okay.
Early in the night, it was obviously kind of bottom dominant, but man, it would... Before they cut some of the banking off the top, you'd actually get kind of all the way to the top in a micro, and it was pretty neat.
That had to be awesome.
Yeah,
that was to the floor. I mean, if you let up, it was you were toast.
Yeah, but it actually raced pretty cool for a big track.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, that was the first big track I ever went to. So that's a track I'm always partial to, and I wish it was still around.
Yeah,
I used to go to short track several years, and I hadn't gone 7-8 years, and then they announced they were closing. I'm like, I've got to go the last one.
Right.
So I did. And
didn't you win the 50-50?
No, I won the. It wasn't the 50-50. The pool Lonnie Wheatley did.
Oh, okay. I remember. Didn't you blow your back out for carrying your money around?
I did. So
listen to this guy.
I won like $2,000 or something. And Lonnie messaged me and said, come up to the tower and I've got your money. I'm like, okay. Hands me $2,000 in 20s and 5s and 10s. So my wallet, dude, it's that thick. So what do? I put it in my back pocket like I always do and drive the 6 hours home from Little Rock. Fine. Get up the next morning, go to work. Fine. Get out at work, take one step out, my back gives out, can't walk. I'm like, what the hell? Like just out of nowhere, I go into my boss, tell him, and he's like, what'd you do this weekend? I told him, I said, well, I went to Little Rock. And he's like, so you made a long drive? I said, yeah. He said, did you sit on your wallet? I said, yeah. He said, do you have a thick wallet? And I'm like, no. And then I'm like, wait, I did. And he's like, man, you can't do that. I'll throw something at, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, right, whatever. So I drive home, go to the chiropractor. First thing he asks, what'd you do this weekend? Told him. Did you sit on your wallet? Yeah. Whole spiel again. And he's like, told me something. And like this leg was like 2 inches shorter than this leg. It threw my back out so much.
Yep.
I'm like, what? So that's the wildest thing. So that, that $2,000 I won ended up costing me about $500.
You guys both have had problems where you just have so much money in your wallet that you blow your back out. I'm over here just straight as a board, man.
Yeah. You got somebody carrying your money for you, Jeremy.
Shit, I wish.
That Booyer Cattle Company, the 885 cattle you got.
I almost had to wear my bibs in a while ago because I was out feeding a while ago, but I get that trucking company money one of these days. I'll start that business.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew you blew your back out counting your money or something weird like that.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. That was back when Kevin Swindell was still driving. And I remember it come down to me and Jordan. Well, it wasn't Jordan Swindell at the time. And she had picked Kevin to win, and I didn't. And that was the tiebreaker. I don't remember who I picked, but so I was pretty happy with that.
I've actually at the Micro National or whatever it was, they had there for a couple years. Mm-hmm. How long did they have that actually?
It was 5 or 6 years, I think.
Though I think one of the last years I was sitting in the grass just chilling out and eating some lunch or something, and I got bit by a whole bunch of freaking fire ants and fucking I was pissed, man. It fucking sucked. For like a week I had all these holes in my leg. I don't know what it was, but I wish I'd have won money and blew my back out.
Cooler story.
Yeah, it'd have been way cooler.
Speaking of trucking companies, I know Chris Lewis is a big part of your team, so you want to go ahead and thank your sponsors?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I got, Lewis Trucking, Chris, he's been a huge part of our team the last, probably 6-7 years. He's really, really helped us out and been super blessed to have him come on board. Flying A Motorsports, Brad Warner and Chad Boseplug, those guys definitely help out. You got an Engler Machine and Tool. He's been a big supporter for me for a while on the micro and the sprint car, and obviously now the midget side of it. So Can't thank him enough as well. And getting picked up Mark Robinson with Milestone Home Service Company, same guy that does the Tulsa race that we're going to actually this next year. So he's actually a customer of ours, and we do quite a few engines for him and his son. So got that. Expert Powder Coat, Ely Transportation. I'm sure I'm missing a few of these guys, but Kim Stream Race Fuels, but Precision Plating with Eric Barnett. I got a couple more we're trying to get on board this year, so hopefully we can announce those here in the next few weeks. And I think Andy's kind of working up a car design maybe, so hopefully have something kind of cool and
blue and orange.
Most likely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just one day I'm gonna pop on there and just see if you change it completely up. But
I mean, it used to not be that,
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah.
The car we were in this past weekend was just straight black. So,
oh, there we go.
Yeah.
but yeah.
Is there anyone like in the micro game, since Speed Shack Performance is your business and everything, and you do a lot of micro engines? And I mean, I know a lot of the guys you probably do some of the engines for. But is there who's some of the big name guys that you actually do engines for?
I mean, honestly, Cole, he's been making us look really good the last few years. Aiden Purdue, he's been on the gas pretty hard and making us look good. We do probably around 60 to 70 engines a year. So we got a lot of them out there, a lot of local guys around here too. But it's hard to break into some of those, top tier, the Frank Floods and, some of the West Coast guys, and all those guys got deals. And honestly, it's hard to give deals out when I'm doing it, parts aren't free. So, but no, we got some really good local guys and regional guys, and I feel like our product's getting better every time, and our guys are doing good showcasing it.
Yeah. Got anything else you want to touch base with, Joby?
I don't know, man. I mean, that's probably about all. Let me check my note thing real quick, but I think that was about all I had going on there. But I guess Cole's going to have to be the face of Speed Shack.
Yeah, he's going to have to kind of take the torch a little bit. We won't be able to hit all the big micro shows, but I was actually kind of planning on going down to the Doe Run to run that big race, but I think we're going to be in Texas now. So
oh yeah, they rescheduled that, didn't they?
So I think that's on top of that weekend now. But yeah,
we plan on. I mean, it'd be stupid not to take Cole to it, But I mean, if we miss it, we miss it. It is what it is. But I mean, being that's where he kind of cut his teeth at. I mean, it's stupid not to go there, but I mean, that is what it is. But I mean, okay, I'm going to do something else real quick, but it'll be real fast.
All right.
So all this I'm saying about this is my own opinion. This ain't nobody's opinion on any of that stuff. So anybody don't take it to heart, you take it to heart, but just, none of these other guys and everybody, I'm not wanting places to completely close down and screw this guy and F this guy and all this different stuff. But all this is my own opinion, and I mean, just because I think something's right, it may not be right. And maybe all the new classes and maybe all this going on is going to be great for it. But I mean, I don't agree with it, but it ain't my track and I don't want to buy it. So you can do it however you want, and I mean, that's just the way I see all the stuff. And I mean, I want to help, but I'm not going to until, we can get some help with it too. But all this is my opinion. So I just want to make sure everybody knows that, this has no face with anybody else or anything like that.
Now that Jeremy's done ranting on that, I did forget. I gotta thank Brad with Bandit Shocks, because if I don't thank him, I won't hear the end of it for a few weeks. Anytime I forget, and if I top three in a race and I don't say it, I never hear the end of it till the next race. So I gotta thank him. We gotta thank Danny Kennard, 67 Towing, Kennard Trucking. And then we had a lot of contingency sponsors, Lightning Wings, Smith Tie, and there's DMI and a lot of contingency stuff that kind of helps us get up and down the road too.
And if you're going to be out on the road 80 nights, you can't do it without those guys. That's for sure.
Absolutely not. And especially my wife. Got to thank her. She lets me spend a lot of money and a lot of my time and her time. She was, I think last night, her and my daughter were in the back of the toter sleeping about 6 of the 7.5 hour trip. So it's a tough life, but
it is.
She enjoys it, and it's kind of cool,
It's
getting
cool.
my
cool.
daughter with us and having her kind of grow up around the track and being around them a whole lot. So
Yeah, that's what I think cool to see Joby a dad now. I can relate to that. And I'm like, man,
That's nuts. I mean, and I had to put a strain on some stuff too. You know?
absolutely. Yeah, it definitely changes the dynamic a little bit. So.
Right? Yeah, it definitely does.
All planned out, I guess.
Yeah. Yep.
I wasn't sure.
She just turned 2.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's another thing I kind of miss out on. I mean, was you going to close it out?
No.
Oh, okay. I don't have any kids, and I can't say that maybe I was still just like punk and wanted to do stupid shit all the time. But being around like all these different kids and everything, I can see how people get like my dog is my dude, man, and I mean all this stuff. But hanging around all these kids, I almost wish I'd have had a batch. I almost nowadays now. But not back, I don't know how I'd have done it back in the day, but just hanging around some of these kids and like Zane, I'm treating that car as, that's my kid's car, spending all this money, doing all this stuff. And I'm just like, I should have just probably had a kid and done it, but then I'd probably be broke because I had a kid.
Tell you what, man, having a kid will change your life, but it's for the better. And, my only regret in life is waiting as long as I did.
And I mean, I'm over now. I'm empty now, so I'm good. I can just let her go.
Right, yeah.
We're good.
It's
but I don't know. I think about it all the time, and I'm like, man, but I don't know. Missed out on some of it, but I guess I'll just take everybody else's kids and spend some money, and then go home and do whatever I want.
Yeah. All right. Well, we can wrap it up on that, I think.
Okay, that'll be good.
We've took up enough of Joby's time.
Yep.
I appreciate you coming up with us. I know you got a busy schedule, and we've talked to you about 2 months ago about getting you on, and the time worked out. So thanks for coming up and joining us. And
appreciate it.
And good luck this season, and we'll be keeping up with you.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.